The Earthquake Commission, EQC, is being blamed for long delays in insurance payouts from April's Edgecumbe floods. Many of the worst affected people with homes right by where the stock bank breached are still waiting, and some have had no contact with their EQC case manager. Tonight, Checkpoint can reveal that may be in part because just 3 people have been tasked with dealing with all 271 claims. Zach Fleming has more.
But devastating there, Ursula.
Yep, it's devastating, all
Oh,
right.
it's all come to life now.
It's like the rivers in the backyard.
Yeah.
We first met Edgecumbe resident Ursula Mayo back in April. Her home was a write-off.
It was obvious from day one, and in fact I even suggested that to the insurers, that you could stand at the end of the street and tell it wasn't going to be built again, or any possibility of being lived in.
But 3 months on, how far has her son Mark Mayo got with tower insurance?
I really don't know. We haven't got anywhere yet.
The 3-bedroom house on Rata Avenue is around just 60 metres away from the stock bank that breached on April the 6th, causing Edgecumbe to flood. Checkpoint visited the property in the days after. The backyard had been turned into a river. Today it's fenced off. Nobody is allowed in.
It's now basically pretty much broken in half. It's been caved in from behind, and all the ground's gone from under it, so the back half of the house has actually fallen into probably a 2-metre sort of hole. It's totally written off, and in fact it's got worse over the last couple of months.
So, house, unlivable. Section, also unlivable. Tower refused to discuss Ursula's case with us, only saying third parties are causing delays. But Mark says Tower's telling him the hold-up's due to a familiar foe.
The only thing I'm getting back from the insurance is they're putting it on EQC. They're saying they're waiting for EQC's input to it.
EQC, the Earthquake Commission. It's become synonymous with stress headache following the Christchurch earthquakes. And for Edgecumbe, EQC received 271 claims. 3 people were assigned to deal with all 271 of those claims, 90 per person. When I put that to Mark Mayo, he wasn't surprised.
Because I've had no response from the EQC, I think maybe 2 emails, one after some prompting from them to eventually assign a case manager, who I've had no communication with. So yeah, we really are in the dark a little bit.
So Ursula's home is undoubtedly one of the worst affected. Logic says it'd be one of the most clear-cut cases. But as you just heard, Mark says he's never heard from his EQC case manager. Earthquake Commission Minister Jerry Brownlee wasn't available for an interview today, but EQC provided a statement.
65% of properties in Edgecumbe have been cleared. Some properties in Edgecumbe were badly damaged and engineering assessments are being undertaken, so EQC can determine whether the land can be remediated or the land claim can be cash settled. EQC is working hard to resolve all Edgecumbe claims as quickly as possible.
Tim Grafton from the Insurance Council says insurers have paid out 70% of the 1,400 claims received from Edgecumbe. He says progress has been slow with some for several reasons, waiting for homes to dry out fully before they can be assessed.
Also, quite a few of these properties built at a time when asbestos was used extensively. So clearing asbestos out of properties has also been a time-consuming job. And also because the time the properties have been underwater, mould has gone in, and that has to be removed as well for health and safety reasons, obviously, to fix up the house. So it hasn't just been a straightforward flood.
And he says that EQC is causing delays too. It has to assess whether properties were damaged due to a landslip or flood. If it's a landslip, EQC pays out more. And if you're wondering why insurance companies can't just pay out customers and get the money off EQC later...
EQC has, under the current piece of legislation, a statutory obligation to pay the insured, not the insurer.
So it doesn't work like car insurance, for example, where your insurer pays you and chases up the money later.
Oh, well, it's a tiny piece of legislation where substantial change is needed. We argue consistently that insurers should be responsible for assessment and management of all claims, and that just makes for a far more efficient recovery process.
An EQC reform bill is expected to be drafted later this year, but the changes it proposes aren't expected to be actually implemented until 2020. In the meantime, Ursula's living in a motel paid for by Tower, while she continues to wait for EQC to assess her home. And Mark continues to worry about his mum.
I keep on trying to think, if it was me, if I turned up home tonight and I wasn't allowed in my house and that was it, and I had to find somewhere else to live. So yeah, you kind of have to put yourself in their shoes.
A Leaky Homes class action lawyer, Matt Josephson, believes Edgecumbe residents may have a good case.
Our preliminary view is they have a good case against the Regional Council, possibly also Trustpower. But basically, we think that the Regional Council didn't put a catchment scheme in place adequately.
Public meetings are being held on Friday and Saturday for any residents who want to take their case to court. For Checkpoint, Zach Fleming.